Hello boys and girls, it's Mrs. Skinner, and the book that I will be reading to you is Never Play Music Right Next to the Zoo by John Lithgow. I went to a concert when I was a lad, not older than many of you. I sat with my sister, my mother, my dad, at a bandshell right next to the zoo. Here's our main character right here. He's not looking pretty happy about this. The soft summer air was so balmy and sweet, and the program was running so long that I found myself falling asleep in my seat, despite all the music and song. Have you ever fallen asleep listening to music? All at once, the conductor erupted with rage. A band of wild animals was storming the stage. Oh, children, remember, whatever you may do, never play music right next to the zoo. They'll burst from their cages, each beast and each bird, desperate to play all the music they've heard. The lions and elephants, the bears and raccoons will steal away the trumpets, the flutes and bassoons. They'll replace the musicians and chase them away. Then they'll sit in the band shell and they will play. Things are getting pretty crazy. The monkey played fiddle, the bison played bass, the percussions were manned by the camel. The yak played the sax until red in the face, a surprisingly musical mammal. Would you go to a concert if it was all played by animals playing instruments? The bonobo played oboe, the ferret the flute. The jackal attacked the bassoon. The hippo had chosen the tuba to toot by the light of the silvery moon. Siberian tigers, Mongolian goats, a superabundance of bestial notes. As the animal orchestra filled up the air with chaos, confusion, and clatter, the audience calmly continued to stare, as if nothing at all was the matter. I trembled with terror, suppressing a scream, while my parents just sat there enraptured. Oh, how I wished it was only a dream, and all those creatures were safely captured. I wonder why his parents aren't freaked out by the animals. But since, by the minute, I'd grown less afraid, I decided to sit back and watch while they played. This page is just the animals. You can see all the animals are in the band shell. And here is the audience. And they're listening to the animal concert. They finished and each put his instrument down, then bowed and descended the stage. Each shed his tuxedo or evening gown and hurried home to his cage. each reminisced, so grateful and glad, so full of contentment and pride. My mother, meanwhile, strolled with my dad, but my sister remained by my side. She tugged on my sweater and spoke in my ear. "You'd better wake up or we're leaving you here." Uh-oh, I have a feeling that maybe he was dreaming. Oh, children, remember, whatever you may do, never play music right next to the zoo. They'll burst from their cages, each beast and each bird, desperate to play all the music they've heard. No, never play music right next to the zoo, and pay strict attention to rule number 2. Bear it in mind for the rest of your days. Don't fall asleep when an orchestra plays. The end. Thanks for sharing my book with me.
Hey there, Perry Elementary. I'm Zack, and this is my dog Ralf, and he's a therapy dog at Therapy Dogs United. And we're happy to be here with you for Read Across America Week. I'm going to be reading you a bedtime story because it's almost Ralph's bedtime. It's going to be What Pet Should I Get? A Dr. Seuss book. We want a pet. We want a pet. What kind of pet should we get? Dad said we could have one. Dad said he would pay. I went to the pet shop. I went there with Kay. And so we went in. I took one fast look. I saw a fine dog who shook hands. So we shook. So I said, I want him. But then Kay saw a cat. She gave it a pat. And then she said, I want that. Then Kay said, now what do you think we should do? Dad said to pick one. We cannot take home two. Then what do you know? We saw two other kinds. Now how could Kay and I make up our minds? A pup and a kitten. They look like good fun. Now which could we pick? We could only pick one. Make up your mind. The cat or the dog? The kitten? The pup? Oh boy, it is something to make up a mind. Then I looked all around. I saw something with wings. I said, look at him. We can pick one that sings. But then, look over there, said my sister Kay. We can go home with a rabbit today. Then I looked at Kay. I said, what will we do? I like all the pets that I see. So do you. We have to pick one pet and pick it out soon. You know Mother told us to be back by noon. And I could have done it. I could have, I bet. I could have said, what pet should we get? But you know what Kay did? Do you know what she did? She said, fish, fish, fish. It may be a fish, is the pet that we wish. Then I saw a new kind, and they were good too. How could I pick one? Now what should we do? We could only pick one. This is what my dad said. But how could I make up that mind in my head? Make up your mind. Pick a pet fast. Pick one out soon. Mother and Dad said to be home by noon. The time may be now to make up my mind, but who knows what other good pets I might find. I might find a new one, a fast kind of thing. Who would fly around my head in a ring on a string? Yes, but that would be fun. But our house is so small. This thing on a string would bump into the wall. My mother, I know, would not like that at all. So, maybe some other good kind of pet. Another kind maybe is what we should get. We might find a new kind, a pet who is tall. A tall pet who fits in a space that is small. My mother might like this pet best of them all. If we had a big tent, then when we would be able to take home a yent. Dad would like us to have a good yent, but how do I know he would pay for a tent? So you see how it is when you pick out a pet. How can you make up your mind what to get? But what if we took one of each kind of pet? Then our house would be full of the pets we could get. No, Dad would be mad. We can have only one. If we do not choose, we will end up with none. I will do it right now. I will do it, I said. I will make up the mind that was up in my head. The dog or the rabbit, the fish or the cat. I picked one out fast, and that was that. The end. I guess we'll never know. But one thing we do know is it's time for Ralph's bedtime. Thanks and keep on reading.